Good morning, Patriots. This is Praying Medic, and this is my QAnon update for Friday, April 20th. Today is Earth Day, for those of you who are into that sort of thing. Yesterday was the anniversary of the battles of Lexington and Concord, and Q did not disappoint on the anniversary of the Revolutionary War. My theme for this series is The War is Real, and Q did a little question and answer last night with the Anons, and we'll get to that. That's at the end of the video. So here we go. These posts are over the last couple of days. This one is on the 18th, and Anon posted an article about the death of H.R. McMaster's father. McMaster was Trump's national security advisor, and the death is being investigated as a case of possible neglect. I think it was originally ruled accidental, but it's being investigated. So Q says 187, failure to retain position and ear. Threats are real. War is real. Good versus evil is real. Think State of the Union. Free. Coincidence? Delta engine fire? Coincidence? How rare are engine fires? Think logically. All right, so yes, there is a war being waged between those who want us living in tyranny and those who want us to live free. The war is indeed real. This is a short clip from the President's State of the Union message that he was referring to. I'll let you listen to that.
Sung Ho's story is a testament to the yearning of every human soul to live in freedom. It was that same yearning for freedom that nearly 250 years ago gave birth to a special place called America. It was a small cluster of colonies caught between a great ocean and a vast wilderness. It was home to an incredible people with a revolutionary idea that they could rule themselves, that they could chart their own destiny, and that together they could light up the entire world. That is what our country has always been about. That is what Americans have always stood for, always strived for, and always done. Atop the dome of this Capitol stands the Statue of Freedom. She stands tall and dignified among the monuments to our ancestors who fought and lived and died to protect her. Monuments to Washington and Jefferson and Lincoln and King. Memorials to the heroes of Yorktown and Saratoga. To young Americans who shed their blood on the shores of Normandy and the fields beyond, and others who went down in the waters of the Pacific and the skies all over Asia. And freedom stands tall over one more monument, this one, this Capitol, this living monument. This is the monument to the American people.
And Q asked if we thought the engine fire on the Delta flight yesterday was an accident. Here's an article, a flight from Atlanta to London. The engine actually caught fire, and it was about 30 minutes into the flight, so they had to divert and land. So Q asked, how often do engine fires happen on airplanes? It's pretty darn rare. One of the Anons did a little digging, came up with this link, and said engine fires have only been listed 15 times in the last 100 years for all commercial aircraft. So, coincidence, or are these aircraft accidents intentional? Q has said they're not accidents; they are intentional. Retaliation. How would Q know that? Well, the NSA captures all electronic communications, and if someone is planning to do a hit or a strike on an airplane, NSA would have that information. They would gather it, and it would go right to the White House and the National Security Team. So that is how Q knows what's going on. And Anon pointed out that California Governor Jerry Brown finally agreed to allow the National Guard to be deployed to the border, and Q responded, he had no choice. Trump is the deal maker. He will leverage you into a position where he is going to get you to cooperate with what he wants. All right, and this is just an article about the National Guard being mobilized to the California border. Q then posted this: why are Dems aggressively attacking Pruitt? Why is the mainstream media aggressively attacking Pruitt? And there's a link to an article. Q says, are you awake, Q? This is a link to the article that Q posted. It's New York Post. Sessions has been investigating a slush fund that is used by a lot of left-wing groups. And what they do is they set up these agencies and organizations that are connected to environmental causes. And the money is actually being diverted to Democrat candidates and causes, and it's a big slush fund. And Sessions is hammering down on that. And Pruitt is kind of one of the guys that's in charge of exposing these slush funds. So that might be why Pruitt is facing so much opposition. All right. I am so glad Q mentioned this. And Anon asked about the Twitter account, Back Channel 17, which according to this graphic is working in conjunction with Q. Are they legit? Should we follow them? They have all these Q posts and tying everything together, and Back Channel 17 is saying, yeah, I'm with Q, I'm part of the team, I'm authorized. Q told you guys I'd be coming down. With some intel, and a lot of people have been asking me about Back Channel 17. Q says they are fake. They are not with the Q team. There are a lot of Twitter accounts out there that are pretending to be associated with Q. There are people on Reddit and people on the Chans. There's Fifth Avenue Anon, and there are all these different people who are claiming to be part of the Q group, and they are all fake. They are not part of the Q group. Q has told us in the past he would only post on one channel. He would not be on any of their platforms. Anybody who says that they're with Q posting somewhere else is a LARP. And, you know, some of them are deep state operatives, and they're just going to give you disinformation. If you're a person who tends to follow conspiracy theories, you tend to be the personality type where you just want to go and look at things that are interesting, things that seem relevant, things that seem to explain, you know, what you're interested in. And you're going to be prey to these accounts that claim to have important, secret, valuable information. Your curiosity is going to work against you. My suggestion is to resist the urge to go follow every YouTube channel and every Twitter account that claims to be doing the kind of things that Q is. In the last couple of weeks, I've had several dreams warning about an increase in accounts that are pretending to be working with Q. I am not following any of them. I'm not interested in them. I'm only interested in Q. And you know, if Q is a LARP, if Q is a phony, why are there so many imitators? Why are so many people, so many accounts trying to be like Q if Q is not legit? Who imitates a phony? Nobody. If Q was just another LARP, another phony account, why would there be all these imitators? To me, that suggests that Q is legit. So my suggestion, if you want to avoid deception, is just stick with Q. I'm not going to be posting anything about anyone else except Q. All right, Q posted this last night. Rudy, NYC, relationships high. Insurance file. Quiet until now. Join POTUS legal team. Direct discussions available now, in brackets, with Mueller. Enjoy the show. They never thought she would lose. Careless, Q. All right, so Rudy Giuliani has joined Trump's legal team. Q says he's been quiet until now, kind of out of the limelight. There is definitely a reason for that. It's my belief that the Mueller investigation is winding down to the end, and Giuliani is not coming on board to help Trump and his people exit the Mueller investigation. Also, let's see. And let me go back here real quick and just talk about some of these issues. So, Trump and Giuliani are both from New York. They've known each other for a long time. Giuliani is one of Trump's most loyal people. The insurance file. What is the insurance file? Well, I would refer you to this Breitbart article from November where Eric Prince talked about Anthony Weiner's laptop being seized by NYPD, and then eventually the hard drive being transferred over to FBI. There was a big cover-up inside the FBI. Andrew McCabe sat on it, didn't want to send out authorization to get a warrant to search that. Giuliani knows all about that. Giuliani has detailed information on Weiner's laptop and that file on it that's called the insurance file. So I don't think it's a coincidence that I think that's what Q is referring to here, is Giuliani's going to come in and tell what he knows about the insurance file. So it is going to get interesting. Q then posted this. We have everything. How can we use what we know? How do you legally inject or make public to use something as evidence? What are you witnessing unfold? Trust the plan. I think that has something to do with the insurance file. How do you legally use something like that? How do you make it publicly known? There are some moves on the chessboard being played right now, and we're just watching this play out. There's a lot of interesting things going on. All right, let me move down to this next post by Q. Q was posting pretty fast last night. I was having a hard time keeping up. All right, EO, executive order, treason, update, read, study the executive orders, follow the pen, executive orders, post pen pics, connect, learn, sky event, Q. All right, let's go to the next post, and then we'll look into the pens and all the executive orders. So Q posted this: push to divide is strong. Think pre versus post 2016 election. Why? Stay together, stay strong, we the people. Where we go one, we go all. JFK, Q. All right, the push to divide, right? Because, the deep state and the criminal cabal know that if they keep us divided, we're weaker. So there's been a lot of attempts to split and divide the people who are supporting the president. And Q and the team is basically saying, look, we need to stay together. We need to resist the urge to squabble and fight amongst ourselves, even though we have differences. And there are people that are following Q, and there are people that are not following Q. I do not bash and rag on people who are not following Q. If people want to think Q is a phony, I don't care. That's fine. I'm not going to. If they support the president, I don't have a problem with them. We need to stay together. Okay, so let's look at the pen drops. This was the first pen photo that Q posted. It was on December 12th. And following that, there was an executive order on December 21st. It's the order blocking property and persons involved in serious human rights abuse, human trafficking, or corruption. I refer to it as the Global Magnitsky Act. It allows the Treasury Department to seize assets. And it is this order that is being used to seize the assets of the Russian oligarchs, like Deripaska, who owns the Russian aluminum company, that they are in serious trouble financially. And that is some of what is causing Vladimir Putin a lot of headaches. I might have more for that, more on that in a few minutes for you. So this is the executive order that followed the first pen drop. Okay, the second pen picture was from Camp David. That was on January 6th. Q posted, "Look familiar, note the desk. Where is everyone this weekend? God bless." So that was the week they were at Camp David. The next executive order was signed on January 9th, just a few days later. This is an order supporting the veterans during their transition from the military into civilian life. The president has been very, very strong in supporting the military because the military has been very strong on supporting the president. Previous administrations have really weakened the military and marginalized veterans, and Trump is doing a lot to help veterans and to give them a fair shake. So there's an alliance. There's an alliance between the military and the president. So that's one executive order. And then there was this post by Q on January 24th. It's pen pick. And interesting, on the same day, Q posted this. Today, former President Barack Hussein Obama formally retained counsel. 9 worldwide. Bless you all. God bless you all, Q. One of the only times that Q actually used President Obama's full name. It was when he obtained legal counsel. For those of you who have not heard, I'm getting a lot of dreams from friends about President Obama, and the dreams indicate that Mr. Obama has some troubles coming from a law enforcement perspective. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but his day in court is coming, I believe. All right, so the next executive order after the 24th of January was this one. Presidential executive order on protecting America through lawful detention of terrorists. All right, and this is essentially clarifies and establishes some ground rules as that help distinguish who is considered a terrorist and who is not. And it classifies some people as terrorists who may not have previously been classified as terrorists, including American citizens who betray their oath of office. Okay, that's why these are relevant, because people are being included in the category of terrorists who may not have been included previously. And the reason why that is happening, the reason why the president is trying to put our own government officials under the classification of terrorism or traitors, is that they can be tried in a military tribunal. Back in one of the very first Q posts, back in, I think, early November, Q suggested that because the court system is rigged, and because of the mainstream media and the circus that would happen with these big people being put on trial, Q suggested that a better alternative would be to have them tried in military courts, where there would be no press, and there would be, the military is much less susceptible to corruption. So that's part of the game plan. The game plan is to take a lot of these people and put them in military tribunals rather than civilian trials. Okay. This executive order signed on March 1st is also related. It's the 2018 amendments to manual for court martials. And you can find all these on the federalregister.gov. In fact, let me click on this. This is, if you go to the Federal Register, this is federalregister.gov/executive orders. All the executive orders signed by the president from 2017 and 2018, you can find them here. These are clickable links. It'll take you to a different page where you can find all the executive orders if you're interested in that. All right, moving along. So Q said the executive orders, which are a basis for arrest and prosecution, are related to a sky event. A sky event. Q has been telling us for some time that the release of the tape from the tarmac meeting between Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch is about to happen. And that went down at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, an airport I go to a lot. It's about 20 minutes from my house. So I believe Q is saying that the executive orders and the need for arrest and prosecution is related to the tarmac meeting. All right. And look, the executive orders, they're a foundation for the prosecution, the arrests and prosecution everyone's been waiting for. The prep work had to be done. We have to lay a foundation. We have to get everything in order before they can make arrests. So those of you who have been impatiently waiting for the arrests, just relax. They're coming. And look, yesterday the OIG came out and referred Andrew McCabe, made a criminal referral to the DOJ for Andrew McCabe. Comey and McCabe are ratting each other out. Everyone's throwing each other under the bus. The other day, Comey came out and said that he felt like after President Obama made public statements saying that Hillary's activities with the emails was not criminal, he felt like he had no choice but to follow his lead. So Comey basically fingered Obama and said Obama was the one who decided that Hillary was not going to be charged. So they're all pointing fingers at each other, and it's getting very interesting. And now that you know a little bit more about the plan, we're going to trust the plan, but let's keep going. I thought Q was done, but Q kept posting last night. So Q posted this. Big error. Pelosi admits travel to North Korea, brackets past, archive immediately. They tried to cover this. Why is it relevant? There's a link to a C-SPAN video. These people will lose everything. Q. And here's a link to the video. And hey, let's listen to the video. Well, let me do this real quick. Q posted this 13-minute mark. There is a section of the video that Q is specifically referring us to, and it's this. So I'll let you listen to it.
Well, let me just say that as one of the few members of Congress who has been to Pyongyang, I did a number of years ago as a member of the Intelligence Committee. It's a frightening place. It's a difficult place. Our purpose then was to say, we want to talk about MIAs and POWs. We want you to stop proliferating, selling your missile technology, issues like that, checking in on the hunger situation because their people were starving, even though their motto was self-reliance. They couldn't feed their own people. And so what they told us then, and so what's relevant to now, is they said, hey, we just sell these this technology for money. You want to buy them? We'll sell them to you. And so what my guidance from there to the current situation is the capability of the North Koreans to create either the technology for a weapon, the miniaturization of it, the capacity to launch it, and the intention to do so is something that we need to know as much about as possible. But in addition to that, they're proliferators. And this is what I keep saying to the administration. They are proliferators. So the danger is not just what they might do. The danger is who they might sell one element of that to, which might be enough to endanger the world even further. So hopeful conversation. Maybe Kim Jong-un is ready to change. I wouldn't be too trustworthy of it, but certainly open to it. And what would be success if at least the communication were increased and there could be some way to stop what could follow if left undeterred, North Korea were to continue what it's doing, which is perhaps other countries having access to the the technology, the scientific know-how, the launch capacity.
So Nancy Pelosi is talking about going to North Korea as part of the Intelligence Committee and blabbing about buying and selling missile technology. Interesting. I wonder if she was supposed to do that. Maybe not. Q instructed us to get a copy of the video and store it offline because they're going to try to remove all traces of it. And he posted this: the importance of this cannot be expressed more clearly. Archive offline immediately. Offline only. Future events regarding the Intel trip to North Korea will make heads roll. Pompeo was the most senior official to visit North Korea since, I believe that was 2000. Future proofs past. So Q is saying Nancy Pelosi screwed up royally last night by running her mouth about North Korea, and it's going to come back to bite her. A bunch of people have downloaded that video already. I've got a copy of it, and they're going to try to scrub that off the internet. All right. This is just an anon who caught the statement that Pelosi made, and that's in the video. So there's a link here to a page. It goes to this page. As I was actually reading this page last night, it disappeared. It went to a 404 error. I wasn't able to continue reading it, and I don't know if it's still offline. Let me see if I can get this to load, but they may have taken that page down. Yeah, I'm getting a database error message on that, so that page has probably been taken down by somebody who didn't want it to be there. All right, moving along. Q says the words used regarding the Intel committee and buying and selling weapons is going to bury her. Think her net worth. Classified at the highest level. Q. Nancy Pelosi's net worth is estimated to be $120 million right now, according to several different, I think it's Open Secrets website. She's worth a lot more than you would make as a congressman, so, or as a senator. All right, so Q is asking for help from the Anons, and this is what he posted. Engineers, data mine Nancy Pelosi, +1 +5, all. Architects, build profile, 1xd × 7, all, eyes only. All right, I believe this is Q asking for help from two different groups of people. One group is going to mine data and get all the information they can on Nancy Pelosi, maybe Schiff, Chuck Schumer, other people that are related close to her in her circle, get all the data they can and compile it. Architects need to take that data and build profiles on everybody. I think this is every day, once a day for 7 days, for the next 7 days, to see what they're doing. That's the best I can give you on the decode on this. I am guessing, but that, to me, that makes sense. All right, and Anon said a terrorist connected to 9/11 was captured a month ago in Syria. Lads, why would someone connected to 9/11 be in Syria, PIC related? And this is a Reuters breaking news story. Q said, who captured? And I wasn't really clear on whether Q is asking who was captured or who did the capturing, but it was Muammar Haydar Zamar, Syrian-born German national who was captured by Syrian Democratic Forces who partner with U.S. troops in the ongoing war against ISIS. So the Anon came back. Oh, this is another Anon who posted about the news that James Comey's memos had been released, at least some of them. And Q says, the memos are fake. Guided by LL, Loretta Lynch, +3, class, think SC, all written at the same time, Q. All right. I actually have a little bit of personal experience with this. I worked for a fire department some years ago, and the leadership of that fire department was pretty corrupt. They liked to retaliate against people. They didn't like one of the firefighters that worked for our department, So they had his lieutenant retroactively write a bunch of incident reports. And they put all these incident reports in this guy's file, and regarding incidents on calls that had happened over the course of about a year or two. They weren't written at the time of the incidents. They were written all in one day. And they put him in his personnel file, and they used that as grounds to fire this guy. Well, it came out, it went to arbitration, and it came out that the lieutenant had been asked by the chiefs to create all of the incident reports after the fact, and they ended up having to hire him back. So, yeah, this is an old trick. And Q is basically saying that Comey and Loretta Lynch and their crew wrote these memos as a way to legitimize the appointment of a special counsel, SC. So this is a little bit of the cover letter of Comey's memos. And note, the email goes out to Andrew McCabe, James Baker, who is FBI Chief Legal Counsel, and James Rubicki, who is Comey's Chief of Staff. Who are the class 3 that worked with Loretta Lynch? I'm guessing it was these guys who worked with Comey to craft the memos so they could appoint a special counsel. Contrived and fake, but it is what it is. And Anon found the answer to Q's question, and this is just the Syrian Democratic Forces apprehended Zamar. That's all that is. All right. Q said, what makes a good movie? One of the Anons replied, great actors, great script, happy ending. I like a few plot twists myself. Okay, Q last night posted this. My friend Brian Parks texted me a message as I was on the Q website. Brian sends me a text. Hey, Dave, Q is going to be taking Q&A for 5 minutes. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So yes, Q opened up the board to question and answer last night for 5 minutes. We have 5 questions that were answered by Q from the Anons. So one Anon asked about the Hillary video, the dark web video that's been out there circulating on YouTube. Is it fake news? Q said, yes, it's fake. We control the actual video that they're referring to. So my suspicion still is that that Hillary video, it has to do with the tarmac. And Q said we're going to drop it when it's time. So we get to look forward to that. And Anon asked if the Federal Reserve is ending. Q said structure. I'm going to take that to mean that the Fed is going to be restructured to get rid of the corrupt elements of the Fed. Not completely done away with, but it'll be restructured so that it'll be a legitimate organization that isn't feeding money to the elites. And Anon asked, when are we going to find out about Seth Rich in Las Vegas? Q said, Seth Rich is connected to the DNC, we know that. MS-13, Julian Assange. Why did the Dems push a legal representative on the family? June is the ETA for all of that. So why did Dems want the family to take a legal representative? Because they have something to cover up. And they wanted the family to state the Dems' party line on that issue because they don't want the truth coming out. But let's see, we're in April 20th, so 6 weeks or so. Maybe we'll find out more about Seth Rich. Okay, and Anon asked about election fraud. Will election fraud be revealed soon? Q says yes. The midterms are safe. Watch California. Q. So, something interesting developing in California elections. I can only imagine. What? Election fraud in California? No way. April showers. All right. And Anon asked if Europe is going to be free of tyranny. Will Europe really be broken from its chains too? Q said, WW. Alex Jones and other people might interpret that as world war, but this has always meant worldwide in Q's vernacular. So Australia, Asia, Africa, South America, everywhere is going to experience freedom from tyranny, and these global elites. They're going to jail. All right. Q said his time for question and answer is over, but he will do it again. Let me see this. This is, to me, kind of impressive. These are all responses. All of these little links here are responses from the Anons to Q's Q&A. They had a lot of questions last night, and Q was only able to answer a couple of them. But he said he would do it again. Time is limited. Keep up the good fight, Q. All right. So this morning, Q posted this in answer to questions about the June ETA on more information regarding Seth Rich, Julian Assange, and the DNC. Q wrote, answer Q question regarding Seth Rich, SR. Seth Rich, June, and Julian Assange, JA. Now this, and it's a link to a Fox News article about the Democratic Party, the DNC, is filing a federal lawsuit alleging a conspiracy by the Trump campaign, Russia, and WikiLeaks to disrupt the 2016 campaign. Q asked if that's a coincidence. Oh, these people really are stupid. Here's the link that Q posted. And yes, the DNC, even though they have done a lot of really not so legal things, they want all of that to come out in court, apparently. So one of the Anons said, bait. And another Anon said, amazing. They're literally opening the door for you to drop all the information as evidence in a court of law. Where we go one, we go all. And Q responded, they fall for it every single time. How do you legally inject or bring into public light evidence that you have, right? So Q is basically saying, we're going to know more about Seth Rich, about Julian Assange, the DNC, transfer of information, I think, from Seth Rich to WikiLeaks. That's all going to come out in this lawsuit. Because during the discovery phase, all that information is presented. And they're going to want to know why the DNC didn't turn over the server to the FBI and why they had CrowdStrike interrogate the server. And Julian Assange may be called to testify. And Assange will say, well, you know, I got the information from Seth Rich. He gave it to me. So we're going to be learning a lot more about that in the coming months. And Anon congratulated Q and the team. Trap card played. Nice work, Q. Q responded, trump card coming. Q. The trump card is going to be played. You haven't seen nothing yet. All right. This is the last thing Q posted this morning. Just a picture of a tree. And the Anons responded, I knew you were at Mar-a-Lago. Enjoy the weather, you lucky patriot. And another Anon said, hope Q was under par. I've had a couple of dreams lately that indicate that Q might be taking a break sometime soon. And I'm not saying that's going to happen immediately. But in the dream, Q had not posted for a while. And I was trying to illustrate and teach people about Q through not using any current Q drops. So, you know, if Q goes silent for a week or two, don't panic, don't freak out. I think it's going to happen eventually, but he'll be back. It's only going to be a temporary pause. So just something to think about, something to pray about. That is my Q update for today. I'm going to get off of here. Thank you all for your financial support. Thank you for sharing this on social media. Thank you for subscribing. This is Praying Medic signing off. I will catch you on the next broadcast.